Okay, good morning, everyone. Let me warmly welcome you all to the Presenting Skills workshop conducted by Ceylon College of Physicians, Do's and Don'ts of Presenting. We have a lineup of very interesting and qualified speakers to talk to you all today. And without much ado, let me introduce to you the first speaker. He's Mr. Niranjan de Silva. He's a business consultant, professional coach, and trainer in communication and self development, advisory board member, 5X Group of Companies in Sri Lanka, an IT advisor to Adam Innovations, Japan. He's an engineer by profession with a BSc Honours degree in engineering from UK. He will be talking to you about getting your message through effectively. Over to you, Mr. Niranjan.
Thank you, Dr. Hiruni, for that very kind introduction. Good morning to all the doctors of Sri Lanka. I think it's a great privilege for me to address Sri Lanka's doctors on a Sunday morning on a very important topic, how to get the message through effectively to an audience. So let's start. What I'm going to cover this morning is what I call ABCD of getting the message through effectively. So this ABCD, I have compiled ABCD, but the information that is there, I have got from many sources locally and internationally, from a lot of research done on how do you get the message through effectively to an audience. So let's start with the A. First one, what are you going to talk about? What is your topic? What is the topic? And there the rule is you should know inside out about the topic that you're speaking. So my advice to you is if you're not very familiar with the topic, don't try to do a presentation. Because sooner or later, the audience will realize that you don't know or you're not authority on the subject that you're presenting, and then you lose the audience. So you have to know what you're speaking about. That's the foundation, starting point. I learned a lot of the presentation skills, or at least I polished up my presentation skills and communication skills at Toastmasters. Now, I've been a Toastmaster for about 32 years now. And I remember when I did my first speech at the Colombo Toastmasters Club around 32 years ago, my mentor, when we join Toastmasters, we get a mentor. And my mentor spoke to me after I delivered the first speech. The first speech is called Icebreaker. So I delivered my icebreaker, and I thought I was a pretty good speaker because I had taken part in oratorical contests, debates, and all in school and in the university. So I went and delivered my first speech quite confidently at the Colombo Toastmasters Club, which they call the Icebreaker, about 32 years ago. And then my mentor comes to me at the end of my speech and says, Niranjan, that was a good speech. I enjoyed the speech, but Niranjan, don't speak from your mouth. Good night. And he went off. So I was thinking, my God. And he was, he's Mr. Halim Gauss. Today he's about 92 years old, but still very alert, very dynamic. And he just said, don't speak from your mouth. Good night, and went off. So I was thinking, hey, what did Halim say? Don't speak from your mouth. So even while going home, I was thinking, what did he say? But I never had the guts to ask him what he really meant, because I was a young boy at that time. And here's this authoritative guy saying, don't speak from your mouth. So about 2 months later, I delivered my second presentation at the Toastmasters. And again, and that was a little bit of a humorous speech. Again, Halim comes to me and says, Niranjan, that was a good humorous speech, but Niranjan, don't speak from your mouth. So for the second time when he said this, I said, Halim, then tell me something. If you don't speak from your mouth, Halim, from where do you speak? He said, Niranjan, please understand one thing. If you want to connect with the audience, if you have to get the message through to the audience, you never ever speak from your mouth. Your mouth is only an output device, like the printer of a computer. To connect with the audience, you always speak from your heart and let the words come out from your mouth. There's a huge difference between speaking from your heart and speaking from your mouth. Now I understand what that means. You see, now imagine for the next 45 minutes, I'm going to do this presentation on effective communication or how to get the message through effectively to an audience, speaking like this. Now I'm speaking from my heart. I'm not speaking from my heart, I'm speaking from my mouth because I have nothing to worry. I have so many doctors in front of me to get the heart revived. But until the heart is revived, if I keep on speaking like this, I don't think I will be able to get the message through. So first thing to remember, can you speak from your heart about the topic that you're speaking? Can you speak from the heart? So that means you have to know the topic inside out. Okay, first thing. The second one, each of these A, B, C, D, each one has 3, right? So A1 is topic, and the rule there is you should be able to speak from your heart. You should know the subject matter so well that you can confidently get the message through to the audience. A2, time. How much time have I got for the presentation? Time is crucial. Now I have been given time till 9:45. So I have to stop sharp at 9:45. Maybe maximum 2 minutes this way or that way. But friends, time is crucial. I go for so many conferences, and all these conferences have keynote speakers, and each of the keynote speakers have a time slot. But if each keynote speaker thinks I can take 5 minutes more, 10 minutes more, imagine after 5, 10 speakers, you're already 50, 1 hour, 50 minutes, 1 hour behind time. So we have to get trained, or to be a professional presenter, we have to know the time frame we have and deliver exactly to the time frame that is given. Now that is the biggest challenge that all the professionals have, whether it's doctors, engineers, architects, lawyers. They have the same problem. I know so much about this topic. I have so many things to speak about, but they have only given me 15 minutes. No choice. You have to make your presentation in 15 minutes. So let me share some advice. How do you deliver the speech according to the time given to you? Now you know the subject matter inside out. Say for example, this topic, how to get the message through effectively to an audience. So I can jot down 100 points about this topic that I can speak. But imagine if one organization or association says, Niranjan, can you cover how to get the message through in 15 minutes? Now, can I cover 100 points? There's no way that I can cover 100 points in 15 minutes. So what should I do? I should go through those 100 points and select the most important, the most interesting, and the most relevant points with regard to that topic that will take me through to the 15 minutes time allocated. Now the question is, how do you select the relevant material? I might look at this material and feel, no, all these 100 points are important. All the 100 points are important. But I have to select maybe 10 points. How do I select the 10 points? That's the A3. A3, the audience. You have to know who is in the audience. Now, when you know who is in the audience, then it's easier. So I never do a presentation unless I know who is in the audience. I never do a presentation unless I know who is in the audience, because I had a huge problem many years back, about 20 years back. A lady called and asked me to make a presentation on latest internet email technologies to the association for 10 minutes, about 25 years ago, when internet email was quite new. So I prepared a pretty good presentation and quite confidently went to the Women's International Hall, which is next to Lionel Went, to deliver my speech on latest internet email technologies. Now that subject I can speak from my heart because I have been in the IT field for 35 years. So I walked very confidently to deliver my 10-minute speech, and I got a shock of my life. The audience, about 75 people, all ladies, average age group 75 to 85 years. and I have to speak about latest internet email technologies. The biggest speaking disaster in my life. Why was it a disaster? Because I did not know who is in the audience. If I had only known that is the audience, the way I would have structured my speech would have been completely different to address those ladies and tell them what this technology can do for them. So since then, if I don't get a clear profile of who is in the audience, friends, I don't make a presentation because I don't want to make a fool of myself. So today I know it's all doctors, physicians from entire Sri Lanka. So I have to peg it at your level. If I'm speaking to some school children on how to get the message through, I have to peg it at the school children level. So it's very important for you to know who is in the audience if you're to really get the message through effectively to an audience, right? So let me recap the 1, 2, 3. A1 is you should know the topic inside out so that you can speak more from the heart than the mouth, because the mouth is only output device where the words come out from. Secondly, you have to select the material that you cover to take through the time frame given to you. Thirdly, to select the material that you're going to cover, essential criteria is you look at it from the audience point of view. Always look at it from the audience point of view, not from your point of view. Now, this is where, again, sometimes speakers go wrong. They take a certain topic and they feel, no, this is my hot area. I want to talk about this. I want to cover this area because this is what is hot for me. But friends, please remember, when you are making a presentation, what matters is not what is hot for you, but what is hot for the audience. Everything has to do with audience research. So I hope A is clear. If anything on A is not clear, maybe you can text in your questions, and during the slot from 9:45 to 10, we will take up those questions, and I'll see whether, if I know the answers, I'll try to give it to you. If not, I'll try to find a person who can answer those questions for you. So A is covered. Now let's get on to the B. To make any effective presentation, to get any message through to the audience, there are 3 things you have to do. You have to prepare, you have to practice, you have to rehearse. You have to prepare, you have to practice, you have to rehearse. Now, my friend, this is crucial. Even if you are a brilliant guy, even if you know the subject matter inside out, if you don't do these 3 things, you can get into problems. Because sometimes people think, I know this subject inside out, man. I mean, why should I prepare, practice, and rehearse? And then sometimes you don't come out strongly. You have to prepare. And talking about preparation for doctors, my uncle, I was staying with my uncle, who was the professor of physiology at the medical faculty here in Kinsey Road, Professor Bobby Dyers. So I used to stay with him during when I was doing my London A-levels, because I'm from Kandy. I had to stay in Colombo to attend tuition classes, and I was staying with Professor Bobby Dyers. Now, when Professor Bobby Dyers has a lecture the next day, he basically locks himself up in the attic. At the Fonseca Road in his house, there's like attic. He locks himself up in his attic, and from 6 to 8, he basically goes through the lecture notes. I can see, because he was like a role model to me. So he's preparing his lecture and I'm studying for my A-level papers, and I can see him. He's having all these files around and he's going through, he's doing diagrams, and he's even making noises, how he's presenting. He's completely practicing. And that is how, when he goes and delivers a lecture, wow, it's fantastic. Now, do you think it comes easy? No, it came because he prepared extensively. for that lecture. So we have to be fair by the audience. My advice is, if you don't have time to prepare, then don't go and waste the audience time, because you have to respect the audience. And you have to make sure that if you have been given a topic to speak, at the end of the topic, the audience should feel, yeah, I mean, that was good. I mean, I learned something. At the end of my 45 minutes, if you can get 1 or 2 tips to make you a better presenter, my time is well spent, your time is well spent. But if I had come totally unprepared and then I speak something here, and at the end of the session, you think, hey, what did Niranjan say, man? I mean, my time is wasted, your time is wasted. So that's the way you have to look at it. I'm quite serious about this. You know, when I was doing my MBA, one lecturer came for the class. The lecturer comes to the class, and because I am normally seated in the front row, the lecturer comes for the MBA class, and he comes, Niranjan, where did we stop last time? I said, sir, you stopped at the place where you said we'll do the rest next time. I did not want to tell him where he stopped. So he asked me, where did I stop last time? I said, you stopped where you said we'll do the rest next time. And I told him at the end of the lecture, sir, I personally feel you should not come to a class and ask the students where I stopped, because we might then lose confidence in you, because we might feel, here, this lecturer comes to class and he's asking us where he stopped. Is he well prepared to deliver this lecture? So preparation is crucial. They say prior preparation prevents poor performance. 5 P's. Huh? Marketers use for another purpose, place, promotion, all that. But for everyone else, these 5 P's are very important. Proper prior preparation. Proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. So that's preparation. Next, once you prepare, you have to practice. So I'll tell you how I prepare. For example, say whether it's a 1 hour presentation or a 15-minute presentation, how I prepare is I go through all the material that I have, and then I select the relevant material, and then I jot it down. And then I do a mental run. Okay, how am I going to present this? Some people say if you can write the entire speech, it's better. If you can write the entire presentation, is better. But I am a bit impatient, so I don't have the, I can't sit and type or write the speech. So I basically jot down all the points in that order. So I do a mental preparation. Then practice. How do I practice? Every evening I go for a jog, not really a jog now. Now it's a more of a brisk walk at my age, So I walk for about 1 hour every evening. And when I walk for 1 hour, I'm basically practicing my next day's presentation. So when I was doing my 1 hour walk up and down our private lane, because now we are locked down in Colombo, I was basically practicing mentally the presentation that I'm going to do to the doctors this morning. So I have prepared, I have jotted down, and the points are here. And now I have practiced while I am walking, and then you're ready to deliver and get the message through. So prepare, practice. And the third one is rehearse. All important presentations that I do, I rehearse in front of an audience. I mean, if it's a general topic, you can rehearse at home. Most of the speeches I rehearse at home in front of my wife and the kids. That's okay. But if it's a very specialized topic, if it's a very technical topic, a very specialized topic that I have to deliver a keynote speech at an international conference, once I prepare and practice, I rehearse in front of an audience. I rehearse in front of an audience. And the audience are people who know the subject matter inside out. So say if it's about latest ICT technologies, I will select about top 5 ICT experts, and I'll tell them I have to do a keynote in Singapore for this conference for 25 minutes. I have prepared a presentation. I want to present it to you, and I want to get the feedback. So I present it to them and they give me feedback. Yeah, Niranjan, I think that point is very valid. This point maybe you should leave out. It's too technical. Your slides are too complicated. So that is what we call rehearse. The advantage of rehearsing, friends, is we do not see the problems we have. The problems, not a problem, I mean, we have certain deficiencies or, style of presenting. Sometimes, you might be meddling with your wedding ring. You don't notice it, but if someone say, hey, Niranjan, hey, throughout your speech, when you were meddling with your wedding ring, now that is the feedback you get when you rehearse. So I suggest if you are really doing a very important presentation, once you prepare and practice, present it in front of an audience, a small audience, and get feedback. Am I clear? Am I audible? That is rehearsal. Now, we connected last afternoon at 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. yesterday. We connected and we checked whether the video is okay, whether the sound is okay, and we had a chat with the admin. And we got this whole thing set up. And then we were supposed to use a background. And when I checked the background around midnight yesterday, the background didn't come properly. So I told the admin, no, I cannot use the background because the background is not coming properly. Now imagine if I had come this morning and found that the background is not coming. Now the background is also not clear. The speaker is also not clear. It will be an utter mess. So there is no easy way out. Prepare, practice, rehearse. So we have now covered A and B. Topic, time, audience on A, prepare, practice, rehearse on B. Now let's get on to the C. The C. Any good presentation has to have an attention-grabbing opening. Attention-grabbing opening. Why is attention-grabbing opening so important? Because first impressions are made within the first 11 seconds. As doctors, I think you might be aware of this. There are a lot of research to show that first impressions are made within the first 11 seconds. In fact, about 10 years back, they said 20 seconds. Then after a rerun of the research, mostly in the American universities, they brought down this from 20 seconds to 11 seconds. That means you have only 11 seconds to make a good first impression. And the research goes on to say, you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. You have only one chance to make a good first impression, and that is only 11 seconds. And the latest research is even more serious. It says, if you get your first impressions right, even if there are minor glitches, thereafter, it is not noticed. You see, if you get your first impressions right, even if there are small problems here and there, it is not noticed. Why? The first impressions were fantastic. The entire audience is now waiting to hear you. So even if you have minor problems, it's not noticed. However, it says, if you don't get your first impressions right, even if you do the most brilliant presentation, the impact is not the same. So friends, this is serious. So this basically means that you make or break yourself within the first 11 seconds. So that's why when you are given an opportunity to make a presentation, go there with PowerPoints and get that first 11 seconds and make a first impression. So I was all ready when Dr. Hiruni was introducing me. I was all ready to come here and say, thank you, Dr. Hiruni, for that kind introduction, and start my presentation, because I want to make, hopefully, make a good first impression to you. But imagine as a normal keynote speaker, you're seated and then you get a brilliant introduction from the session chair, and then the speaker comes on. Says, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for that very kind introduction. And this morning, I am going to speak to you about how to get the message through effectively. First impressions gone. Audience impact gone. And you will never, ever get to that audience again. So please be aware of the first 11 to 20 seconds where you make that first impression with that go opening. That means one sentence, a one sentence opening to grab the entire audience attention on the topic that you're speaking. How do we minimize the impact of COVID-19? Pause. And then move on to the next section, which we call the body. So the opening sentence, or that memorable, the powerful opening to grab the audience attention has to be separated from the rest of your presentation. So you start off with that attention grabbing opening to grab the audience attention. Now, another thing that you have to remember when you start preparing, just jot down what is the main objective of my presentation. What is the main objective of my presentation? And there is an international rule for this. There's an international rule for this. They say you should be able to write the objective of the presentation in maximum 114 characters. 114 characters. So 114 characters is all you have to write the objective of the presentation. Now, for example, this morning, my objective is how do you get the message through effectively to an audience? So I would write it in 114 or 114 characters, getting the message through effectively. Getting the message through effectively. I had to write that down. Maximum 114 characters, not words, friends. Not words, 114 characters. Because they say anything more than 114 characters, clarity is lost. Once you write it in 114 characters, the objective of your presentation, then what you have to do is you have to make sure that every sentence that you speak is taking you to that final objective. Every idea that you bring out, you go to that final objective. Every slide that you put, PowerPoint slide that you put, you are going to that final objective. Which means we cut off all the digression, going here and there and everywhere. Once we know and once we have written the objective in 114 characters, then we are focused. We are crystal clear on the way forward, and we take the entire audience with us to that final objective of your presentation. So that is what we call the opening. How do we start the presentation? Once you get the opening done, next one is what we call the body of the presentation. The body, the main content. Now, when it comes to the main content, they say have short sentences. Have short sentences. I don't know what has happened, but I noticed in Sri Lanka during the last few years, we have forgotten the full stop. The full stop never comes. Every time I think the sentence comes to an end, it is connected with another so, then, but, hence, therefore. Now again, research shows that once you connect 3 sentences, the fuse goes there. We cannot understand. So they say have short sentences. Next, avoid all the blank words. Avoid all the blank words. No, there are so many blank words in the English language. I mean, so that, to be very honest. Now, if someone says to be very honest in a presentation, then immediately I will think, now rest of what he said, was it honest? Now see, very dangerous things, right? to be very honest. The other day I had a presentation also delivered by a top, very, very highly qualified person. But almost every other sentence, he used to say, you know, you know, you know. So after I heard 3 you knows, I thought, hey, what is this man? And I know him as well. So every time he says, you know, I meet the audience and say, you know, you know. And he say, you know, you know. And at the end of the presentation, he comes and asks, Niranjan, how was my presentation? I said, Prof, you know, no. So never say you know. I mean, these are blank words. You might as well use the right word at the right time to convey the message. Avoid all those blank words. Now, there's one thing, very important thing that I want to share with you. This is from the London Business School. Now, I don't know whether there has been a similar study done by a doctors forum, but London Business School found 3 or 4 years back that the graduates of London Business School, they go and make corporate presentations. And the retention level was very low. The retention level, that means, say, a graduate of London Business School goes and does a corporate presentation. Then in 3 weeks' time, a team goes and asks, can you recollect what our graduates presented to you? And these were all business people, top business people. And they found the retention level was extremely low. So then there was a big concern there. You know, we are producing graduates who are making corporate presentations where people remember nothing. So if people remember nothing, then have you got your message through effectively? No. It has been a totally ineffective presentation. So that's when the research started. And the research took about 1 year, and the research findings were published, I think, about 1.5 years back. And the research goes on to, the results are this. They say, if you share statistics with the audience, if you share statistics, figures, information, people will remember 3%. So statistics, plain statistics, figures, people will remember 3% of what you said within 2 to 3 weeks. If you can get all those statistics, numbers, figures, and put it into a picture form or a graph form, immediately the retention goes up to 20%. So plain statistics, 3%, put it into a picture form, graph form, 20%. And then it says, if you can get all this information, pictures together and put it into a story form, retention goes up to 50%, 50. Power of stories. Power of stories. Why are stories so powerful? Stories are so powerful because from our small days, from our young days, we grow up with stories. So if you can put whatever you had present it into a story form, immediately the retention goes up to 50%. Plain statistics, 3%. Graph picture, 20%. Put it into a story form, 50%, 50. And finally it says, if that story is with a humorous background, with a little bit of humorous background, retention goes up to 90%, 80 to 90%. Power of humor. Why is humor so powerful? Humor is powerful because humor relaxes people. And when people are relaxed, then their blood circulation is normal and your brain cells are open to capture the message. I don't think I should be telling this to the doctors, but this is what the research says. When you are relaxed, the message sticks better. So the presenter has to make the audience relaxed, to basically relax and get the message. So this is, friends, London Business School. If they have done a similar study in the doctor's school, check and see, because retention is crucial. Whatever presentation you do, if the retention is not there, there's no point, right? Then, so that is the body. Next, the close. The close. The close has to be a memorable close. The difference between the opening and the close is you grab the entire audience attention with that attention grabbing opening. So the opening has to be always attention grabbing. Grab the audience attention. The body has to be well structured, point to point, no blank words, proper slides. There's a presentation later on how to use PowerPoint. So that's all part of the body. And then the conclusion. What is the takeaway message? What is the takeaway message? That has to be memorable. So when I'm making a presentation, basically I might memorize 2 sentences. I might memorize the first sentence because I can't take a chance with that. I have to grab the entire audience attention with that attention grabbing opening. And I might memorize the last sentence, which is what we call the memorable close, the takeaway message. The rest of it, don't memorize, but make sure that you have the points in front of you, because and look at the point, and because you have prepared and practiced and rehearsed, when you look at the point, you know what you have to speak about. Because if you memorize, then the audience knows that you are speaking from memory. And then the entire impact is gone. You should only get the point and then speak from your heart. So now we have covered the C. The C is opening, body, conclusion. Attention grabbing opening, well-structured body, and a memorable close. Now, the D, the last 3, the D. This A, B, the C 1, 2, 3, that's what we call the content. That's the content, right? That's attention grabbing opening, well-structured body, memorable close. That is the content. Now we are getting on to the icing on the cake. Now the cake is baked. The icing on the cake, which is the style of presentation, style of presenting. First, there are again 3 things, D1, D2, D3. D1, your voice. Your voice is a very powerful tool that you have. You can vary your voice, you can vary the volume, you can vary the pace, you can vary the pitch. You can speak loud and say, hey, we have to do this. But it's a very tough decision to make. That's a volume. Then high pitch, low pitch. The pace, I think we are running out of time, so we better get this done fast. You go on a holiday and you just, sit back and relax. Pace, number of words per minute. Now, I think this is very suitable for the doctors. They say when you are making a presentation, your voice has to be like your ECG. Your voice has to be like your ECG. That means continuously, it has to be varying. Now, if your ECG goes beep, that means you're dead, right? I'm right? Yeah, that means you're dead. No? So they are saying, don't let your voice also go beep. That means you're a dead speaker. What this says is, vary your voice appropriately to get the message through effectively. Vary the pace, vary the volume, vary the pitch. And when you vary this voice, you get the audience attention. You might have a very good voice, but if there is no voice variation, the research shows that after about 40 to 50 seconds, you might lose the audience because your voice is monotonous. Your voice is not anymore like your ECG, and then you might lose your audience. And then when you see the audience, this might be the audience reaction that you see. Don't let that happen. Vary your voice. That's what we call vocal variety. Again, international research. International research. International research says when you make a presentation, the words that you speak account for 7% of the impact. The words that you speak accounts for 7% of the impact. So even if you get a word here, they are wrong, it's not a major problem. Some people are a bit shy to do presentations in English, saying that our language is not good. But I mean, it's okay. English is not our first language anyway. Your language has to be reasonable and you have to polish up the English. But research shows that the words that you speak, the impact it has on your speech is only 7%. Your voice, your vocal variety accounts for 38% of the impact of your presentation. This is research done by Toastmasters and also, I think, verified by Stanford University in the US many years back. So they say the words account for 7% of the impact, the voice accounts for 38% of the impact, and 50% 55% of the impact comes from your body language. Body language. So what is body language? Body language is, I think, again, similar to what Halim Gau said, when you speak from your entire heart. You speak from the heart, and then your entire body speaks. So don't just stay in one place and make a presentation. Speak with your entire body. If you want to say, I'm going to discuss with you 5 points, you show them 5 points, ladies and gentlemen. 5 points we are going to discuss. This is body language. Eye contact is body language. When you are speaking to an audience, you have to have eyeball to eyeball eye contact. Now, it's very difficult when you are doing online like this. Even I am still getting used to having eye contact with the audience online. I'm okay with eye contact with a live audience. And the live audience, the rule is you have to have eyeball to eyeball eye contact with each and everyone in the audience. Eyeball to eyeball eye contact. Of course, if it's a large audience, then you separate the large audience, because if it's a large audience, you're going to be pretty far from the audience. And if there are 500 people there, you break this audience into groups of 105 groups, and make sure before you finish, you have spoken to every group. And by the time you finish, everybody in the audience should feel the speaker spoke to me eyeball to eyeball. Now, if it is online, we have to get trained to speak to the camera. So always I check where the camera is, and the only time I have eye contact with you, eyeball to eyeball, is when I look at the camera. And I'm still not very good at it, because my fantastic, handsome picture is down there. So I feel like looking at myself and speaking. But if you really have to get eye contact, look at the camera. If it's a live audience, eyeball to eyeball eye contact. So friends, I think my 45 minutes is up. So let me recap. A, B, C, D of public speaking. On A, topic, time, audience. B, prepare, practice, rehearse. C, attention grabbing opening, well-structured body, memorable close. D, vocal variety, eye contact, and body language. And if you can put all these A, B, C, D together, I can guarantee you that the next presentation that you do will be definitely at a higher level than the previous ones. I thank you very much for your attention, and hand the controls back to Dr. Hiruni if there are any questions to be taken up. Because the time is 9:45:00.
Thank you so much. Yes, right on time. And also, sir, I should tell you, I did not feel 45 minutes go by. We actually do have a few questions, sir. And Professor Seneka has already answered them. So if you have anything to add to it, the first question is, what are the strategies you can practice to mitigate stage phobia?
Very good. I think that's an excellent question. I don't know whether you are aware. Or let me ask you a question. I know you can't answer, but let me still ask you the question. What is the biggest fear in life? What is the biggest fear in life? Look, biggest fear in life is not death, not that illness that we come to you doctors. You know, the biggest fear in life, not only in Sri Lanka, internationally, the biggest fear in life is the fear of public speaking. That means getting in front of an audience and speaking is the biggest fear in life. They say the biggest fear in life is the fear of public speaking. Second biggest fear in life is the fear of death. And the third biggest fear in life is the fear of dying while speaking. So 1 and 3 are directly linked to public speaking. So if you are nervous in front of an audience, you are quite normal. How do we get over this? The only way you can get over this nervous, I'm not saying you can get over the nervousness, right? I don't think I'm not nervous in front of you. Everybody is nervous in front of an audience, but the difference between a trained speaker and an untrained speaker is a trained speaker will use that nervous energy to put more power into the speech, like what I am doing. Not that I'm not nervous. I'm using my nervous energy to put more power into my presentation. However, if you don't have the experience, if you're not trained, then the nervous energy takes you over. Now that's when all the problems start. That's when you forget what you have to say. That's when you start sweating. And that's when you look at the audience and you feel the audience is also aggressively looking at you. And then you look at God and he's also not there. and then you're in big trouble. So what do? You have to practice, practice, practice. Every opportunity that you get, make a small presentation. At the medical college, in a social service organization like Rotary Lions, or even at home, make a presentation, and or otherwise you join Toastmasters. Toastmasters is an ideal opportunity for you to develop your communication and leadership skills, because when you join Toastmasters, you get an opportunity twice a month to get in front of a small audience and make presentations. And I have seen people coming to Toastmasters where they are unable to get 2 sentences effectively when they join Toastmasters. But within 2 months, our problem is to get him to say, stop talking, now sit down. So confident. So friends, no easy way out. The only way you can develop your self-confidence and get over this nervousness is by practice. It's like playing golf now. If you want to play golf, you have to get to the golf course and start playing golf. Friends said they want to play golf. One person joined the golf club and he started playing golf. Other one said, I'm a professional. I want to approach this in a professional manner. And he bought all the DVDs on golf. He read all the books on golf. He still can't play golf. So it's the same thing here. To get over the nervousness, prepare, practice, practice, practice. Or join Toastmasters, because there you get a forum. It's basically a speaking laboratory. You don't have to be shy even if you make mistakes, because we have all come there for one purpose, to develop our communication skills. And the advantage of developing your communication skills, doctors, is that when you develop your communication skill, with that, you develop your self-confidence. So that's why we say at Toastmasters, where leaders are made. Dr. Hiruni.
Yes, the questions keep pouring, sir. There's another question asking, if you're saying a meaningless word without you knowing it, how would you get rid of it?
Again,
meaning if it has become a habit.
Right. What you have to do is focus on it. Even I had a lot of these blank words, I had I had. So then someone told me, Niranjan, your speech was good. But do you know, within that 10-minute speech, you had 10 That's too much. I said, okay, good. Thank you for the feedback. Now that's feedback. Huh? So you have to first get feedback. You must first see what is the problem, get the feedback. Then what? Now when I speak, I'm cautious about that. I'm thinking, hey, I'm not going to get that to come in. And every time I think the is coming, what I do is swallow the and come out with the next word. Swallow the unnecessary words and come out with the next word. So what you do is focus on it. It's not that easy. And if you cannot get over it overnight. But if you focus on it, gradually you can reduce it. I mean, not only this, a lot of people have this thing when they speak, they have this, you see, what I want to tell you is this, they have these noises coming. So now when you join Toastmasters, there's a person called R counter. They will count your R's, that is all the R's you make. And at the end of the speech, they say, Niranjan, you had 20 R's. 20 hours. Now our challenge, next time I do the speech, I must focus on it and make sure that my number of R's are less. How do I do it? I focus, and every time I think the R is coming, swallow the R and come out with the next word. So focus, focus, focus. You won't be able to get rid of it overnight, but over a period of time, gradually, you will be able to get all those blank words. Dr. Hiruni.
Yes, sir. Let's give a few short answers to these questions, sir. Next one is how to gracefully tackle a question that you do not know the correct answer to, if you're asked.
If you don't know the question, please be very honest. Say that I do not know the answer for this and refer to an expert. It is still better than trying to bluff. Because if you try to bluff, your credibility is gone. And today, the world is so vast, knowledge is so vast, things are changing so fast. I don't think we should be shy to say, sorry, I don't know that. I will try to refer you to an expert on this subject. And don't be shy to say, I don't know. Very often at interviews, many questions I say, I don't know. Sorry, that's it. Okay, next question.
Next, yes, next, a lot of attendees need to know about information on how to join Toastmasters. If you can give a quick
Okay,
recap, sir.
sure. Just go to www.toastmasters, T-O-A-S-T, Toastmasters, one word, Toastmasters, T-O-A-S-T, masters.org. Not .com, .org. www.toastmasters.org. And then that's an international website. Toastmasters is an international organization originated in California, USA, 94 years ago. You go to this site and then go to Sri Lanka. Right now, I think in Sri Lanka, there are about 156 to 160 clubs. So when you go to Sri Lanka, you will see all the clubs that are in Sri Lanka, because we have clubs right through the island, entire island, Jaffna, Kilinochi, Madavarachi, down south, everywhere. You select a suitable club, contact numbers are there. You go for 1 or 2 club meetings as a guest, see the form, and if you have time to spend, you join Toastmasters. But you have to join the meetings twice a month. Because again, research shows consistency of twice a month is required to improve your capability. So if you can't find the time to go, don't join. Dr. Hirumi.
And sir, are there any online courses available in Toastmasters?
When you go to the Toastmasters site, there are a lot of online video presentations. I'm not too sure what is available to non-members, because as soon as I connect as a member, but there should be sufficient resources. So please check out www.toastmasters.org. Even if they don't have, maybe you can request and they might be able to help you out.
Okay,
Dr.
Next, sir, they want to know if you conduct any courses for communication.
I am a retired person now. I retired to enjoy life. So I am not doing anything. I only go as an invited person. So I'm visiting faculty PIM, visiting faculty Colombo School of Business Management. So if you doctors can organize something and invite me, I will come. But I don't initiate anything. I mean, these are all done on invitation basis only.
Final question, I think, sir, because we do have 5 minutes more. They're asking if there are good presentation sites on YouTube. I'm assuming these are about tutorials that you would recommend.
Yes. If you can go and just check out on YouTube, World Champion of Public Speaking. Every year, Toastmasters, we select the World Champion of Public Speaking. And to become the World Champion of Public Speaking, you have to basically compete with about 33,000 speakers worldwide to become the World Champion of Public Speaking. And we can be very happy in the year 2015, a Sri Lankan, Dhananjay Hettiarachchi, became the World Champion of Public Speaking. Now, if you have time, just go and check out these YouTube clips. And this World Champion of Public Speaking, it's a 5 to 7 minute speech, which means if you're less than 5 minutes or over 7 minutes, you are disqualified. 5 to 7 minutes is all you have. And if you're 1 second over time, you are disqualified. During that time, you have to get a message to the audience. So just analyze the speeches, see how they open, see the body, see the close, see their vocal variety, see their eye contact and the body language. You might be able to learn a lot. It's general topic, but they are the ultimate of the communicators or the public speakers or the speakers in the island, in the world champion of public speaking. Dr. Hirumi.
Yes. And finally, sir, you were talking about the first impressions that we should make in presentation when we are doing a presentation. How would you say we should adjust it if you're going for an interview? The first impression of an interview. If you can, this might be an elaborated question, but if you can give a quick
Yeah, sure.
answer to that,
First
sir?
impressions of an interview is very important because I have interviewed more than 2,000, 3,000 people in my life and recruited more than 1,000 people to Metropolitan during my 34 years at Metropolitan. First impressions are very important. And I never read the CV before I interview. I only interview and then look at the CV. So when you walk into the room, do you have a smile? How is your attire? I mean, this is first impressions. Attire. Now, see, I mean, I'm in a shirt and tie because I want to make a first impression with the doctors. At least the part you can see is I'm properly well dressed. No, what you can see. Now, that's one of the first impressions. And then the first question I ask these people, so tell me something about yourself. Tell me something about yourself. They make or break themselves with that one question. If they answer that question well, I continue the interview. If they don't answer that question well, I do not continue with the interview. It happened very recently. I had to recruit an engineer for the Japanese company that I'm working with. And I asked this guy, I mean, he walked in with a nice smile and well dressed. I said, tell me something about yourself. He looked at me and asked, is it about me? I said, yes, it's about you. I'm not going to tell you. Tell me something about me. And the interview was stopped. First impressions. Dr. Hirune.
Yes, sir. With that, that was the final question we had, sir. I would love to thank you so much, sir. It was a very interesting 1 hour, and I'm pretty sure we will all turn out to be better presenters. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.